Hello, beautiful soul. This is Claudia Williams, and in today's video, I want to paint for you a picture of the contrast of the two different experiences of women who have said yes to their soul, yes to the voice of God, to a woman who's beginning to feel that stir within inside her heart. There are two different ways of thinking, operating, and two totally different ways of living. Now, as I am extending this to you, I want you to begin to feel into where you are currently in your life, and are you feeling that stir within your heart? What is that stir calling you towards? I want you to then look at your hesitations to say yes to the stir, to the voice of God, saying yes to the voice of your soul. What is that hesitations? And I want to begin to paint a picture for you. Now, there's so many scenarios that I can look at in terms of mindset, feelings of work, decision makings, daily routine, but I'm going to do my best to give you as much scenarios here as possible. I want to talk about, first of all, the woman who's living in the old paradigm. And I want to talk a little bit, first of all, about this old paradigm and what it is. Now, this old paradigm is one that has been constructed by a masculine system of power. This old paradigm has influenced how we as women has formulated our belief system and the choices that we make and the decisions that we make and how we live and how we create according to the new paradigm, where we are anchored into a foundation, a paradigm of love, unity consciousness, collaboration, and abundance. This paradigm is dictated by the thinking of God, by the thought system of God, which is love. Now, the daily routines, now when we look at the daily routines of a woman who is anchored into the old paradigm and who is beginning to sense the call in her heart, her daily routine is filled with obligations. If she wakes up in the morning, she doesn't think of how can I take care of myself and let's say a prayer to God. She looks at all her obligations and a calendar, and immediately she's overwhelmed because of her to-do lists. Now, this woman, is she driven by love or is she driven by fear? She's actually driven by fear because she believes that her obligations and the amount of output she does determines a sense of source and value, determines the value and her worth. In contrast to a woman who is operating in this new paradigm, do you think her daily routine is going to look the same? No. Now let's have a look a little bit of how, let's call her Andrea. How does Andrea's morning structure look like? Well, she wakes up in the morning, she's like, wow, she looks out of the window. She sees the butterflies, she sees the trees, she sees the sunlight, she looks at the birds, she sees the animals around her, and she is filled with gratitude and she's filled with appreciation for another day that she gets to exist on this planet. She wakes up not with the obligation mindset, but she wakes up with a sense of devotion to her heart and to her soul, because she believes that her prioritization of self-care develops a deeper sense of self as she devotes herself to God. She understands the profound impact and amplification of self-care, and she understands the power of sacred rituals such as prayer and journaling and meditation. And she understands that creating space for her self-care allows her to amplify her influence of love, her influence of joy, her influence of peace. Now let's look at the woman in the old paradigm in terms of decision making. How does this woman operate? How does she decide? How does she make her choices? The woman in the old paradigm, she hesitates and she seeks validation from others before making decisions. So she's still externalizing her sense of source and a sense of worth because she lacks that self-trust. She lacks that discernment. And a woman who is in the new paradigm, she makes decisions swiftly. She relies on her inner knowing and her inner judgment without the need of external validation and approval. Right? So I want you to see the impact of these two paradigms that is in contrast with each other, and how this woman, how they operate. A woman that is living in this old paradigm, how do you think her relationships will look like? Let's have a look at that. If she's lacking that self-worth and that self-value, and if she lacks boundaries, her relationships will not be in alignment because she will hold back her authentic expression. She will hold back her voice. She will be afraid of being judged. She will be afraid of being seen. She's still operating from people-pleasing and hypervigilance, and she's still giving away her power. She may still be operating from trauma, which means she may attract narcissistic relationships. She will attract inauthentic relationships. Where a woman is operating from the new paradigm, she will attract relationships that are soul aligned, where she's seen and valued for who she truly is. Now, lastly, let's look in terms of manifestation. There's so much more that I can talk about here, but let's talk about manifestation. Do you think a woman in the old paradigm, if she has this desire, how do you think her mechanics will be regarding manifestation? How will she feel? She will feel that it's a struggle, it's a strive, it's a push, it's hard work. Why? Because she's still feeling stuck in scarcity, lack, and limitation. She's not fully embodied, which means she cannot access her intuition. The alignment of masculine and feminine energies are not balanced, so it will be really challenging for her to manifest, to surrender, to release, to receive. She will be really stuck, in manifestation will be really hard. She will probably have to use a will and a force in order to manifest. Now, a woman who is in the new paradigm, because she's operating in an embodied state, because she's aligned, because she's in union with her heart and her soul, she will not strive and struggle. Instead, she will magnetize and she will attract abundance, knowing that her desires are already hers, because she's operating from a sense of fulfillment and from a sense of peace. Now, I want you to have a radical internal look of where you currently are, which paradigm, and are you beginning to feel that stir inside of your soul? And are you resisting saying yes? If you are resisting saying yes, I invite you to ask yourself, why am I resisting? What am I resisting? And I want you to journal about this and allow those answers to emerge. And if you desire to move forward and desire to live in this new paradigm of effortlessness, of flow, of peace, of abundance, of all the beautiful things that life can offer you, I invite you to say yes to God and place and set an intention of living a soul-inspired life. The answers will come, the answers will emerge, and whatever you need will be given unto you. I'm Claudia Williams, and I'm here to guide those of you who are feeling the stir inside of your soul. I'm here to support you in finding your feminine innate wisdom so that you can trust yourself and create a soul-inspired